Let's go. Put your tray tables in the upright position.
Make me fly. Watch me kiss the sky. Come on, move on me. It is all it is. With you by my side, there's no way I can lose. See me fly.
Goddamn, that my memory served me. Energy from everything kinetically surging. Better never get another chance to be this young. Woke up just to see this sun. New days, I'ma get me one. Been a long road coming, thinking God blessed every run. All the million little pieces we've become. Any bucket list, I'ma leave it done. All I need's a good cup of coffee, good plump in the concrete. Hooked up in Brooklyn, took Canal Street. Hope every watch's jacket, just so maybe I remember this time, everything that happened. Then I'm zipping in my friends a mask where the legal grass is. Just give me the sativa stash. It's been down, now it seems it's backwards. Got a beat from in, now we rolling down the street, just laughing so fly.
Make me fly. Watch me kiss the sky. Then you move on me. It is all it is. With you by my side, there's no way I can lose. See me fly. Then you move on me. It is all it is. With you by my side, there's no way I can lose. See me fly.
When I'm with you, my dear, I'm far away from here. Must be the magic. Must be the magic. I found you.
Make me fly.
That's right.
Watch me kiss the sky. Then you move on me. It is all it is. With you by my side, there's no way I can lose. See me fly.
Oh shit, mountain smooth, cause you reaching new altitudes. Hanging on every word like a mountain view. When we bounce a cruise, fuck them all like I count on you. Like Bojack and dying, whole snap and try it. Pepper pots in the man. Times get strange and the people keep lying. The truth is the truth, any state I reside in. I am.
Make me fly. Watch me kiss the sky. Then you move on me. It is all it is. With you by my side, there's no way I can lose. See me fly.
Ahora directamente desde West Hartford, Clockwise, el único, el más bravo, el duro, el que nunca nadie lo puede poner abajo porque él siempre tiene toda la lírica para todo el pueblo de West Hartford, para que no sepa, papá.
We're back. It's a Friday night. We are live as always here. I have a draft that just started at 9 o'clock sharp. It is an IDP draft. We have 4 IDP spots, so we will talk about that stuff as we go. I might be a little distracted here. I have the 6th pick in the draft. It is a redraft, just a standard. Not quite boring because there is some IDP in there. But we've got three wideouts, 2 running backs, tight end, kicker, defense, and 4 IDP spots, and a pretty shallow bench. So basically, just drafting starters. But anyway, how is it going again, fellows? We're joined this week. We got Kyle. We got Dingus. Both of them. That's because Hollywood's running late, as per his nickname.
Make sure he's got that beer.
He probably is. He probably had to stop and get a case or something. It is a holiday weekend. We're joined once again, repeat customers here. We have Detroit Beastie Chris. How's it going?
Great. Thanks for having me again. I just started a draft too at 9 o'clock. I don't know.
Go.
I don't know if it's redraft, dynasty. Good thing I checked Twitter, and I guess another charity league that I would have not known about until about 5 minutes ago. So I'm here in front of my computer. My first round pick, 3rd overall, I took Kamara. So why not have some fun? When in Rome, right?
I took Michael Thomas with my 6th pick, so we just got there. I was half tempted to take Edwards-Helaire just because I don't really have. I have him in one league, I think, and it's an auction, so I just bid. I mean, actually, I got him for a decent price. This is before opt-outs and stuff. So, and we are also joined once again by Z-Mags. Zach, how's it going?
Going pretty good, guys. How about you?
Going good. Like I said, Hollywood's MIA.
Right.
Or he's just trying to be like Hollywood and show up late, true to his nickname, where his name came from. But anyways.
That'd be fantastic if he showed up wasted already with his shirt off, bandana on, shirt off, wasted. Like
nobody wants to see him without a shirt off.
What? I know, but that would be. It's part of the fun here on a Friday night of a holiday weekend.
Why would that not surprise me, though? If he actually did show up like that, I would not be surprised.
It wouldn't be surprising, no. But yeah, not like there's any news happening today, like every 5 minutes.
Trubisky got named the starter for the Bears, though. Whoop, whoop. You know.
Yeah, another 6-10 season in Chicago. Heck yeah.
8-8. 8-8. Come on now.
They don't make the playoffs. Is Nagy on the hot seat?
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
The thing about it was Trubisky his guy? I think he was drafted the year before he got there.
Yeah, but I remember hearing that even when he was in Kansas City, Nagy wanted Reed to take Trubisky.
Jesus. Good thing Andy Reid didn't listen to him.
Right. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing with Trubisky there. And I think now, has he done everything well in Chicago? Absolutely not. But if you recall, prior to Nagy there, when Trubisky's allowed to use his legs and move that pocket and throw on the run, the Bears' offense was quite successful. And even further to that, Trubisky was successful as a fantasy quarterback. Nagy comes in there, tries to keep him as a pocket passer, and then we started to see that Trubisky can only throw to the left side of the field. So I honestly think Nagy's probably more of the problem than Trubisky is at this point. Yeah,
definitely for 2019, I would have to agree with Coach there. You saw in 2018 is where you saw Trubisky kind of he really wasn't that bad of a quarterback. He definitely struggled, but when he was on the move, he was able to make plays. And I'm kind of hoping, just for the Bears' sake, that they kind of let Mitch get back to that, and hopefully Nagy is a little bit more creative, other than just trying to keep him in the pocket, because Mitch does a lot better when he can move around.
I'm in a weird, sorry to cut you off, Dingus. I'm in this weird kind of thing, especially on social media. As a Lions fan, I like to trash the Bears, but last season, Mitch Trubisky threw 6 total touchdowns against my Lions, so I don't even bother trashing the Bears, because the Bears fans, that's their go-to, and rightfully so. So I'm stuck in that weird purgatory of not being able to trash them, because the Bears aren't that good, and Trubisky, respect to what you said, Dingus, I don't think he's that good of a quarterback, but he just lit up the Lions, so I have to keep silent. It sucks.
Well, I can guarantee you I am not taking Mitchell Trubisky in this draft. So,
No.
guaranteed.
Absolutely not.
Stamp it. I can't read because I got a couple screens up here. If you could keep 2 of the 4 linebackers, who would it be? Helani Tavai, Damian Wilson, Josh Bynes, or Alex Anzalone? Ugh. I think Tavai is the
Tavai and Bynes for me.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, Josh Bynes.
Probably Bynes.
Tavai.
Yeah,
That is incredibly ugly.
Some other news that's the Saints are apparently highly heated to get Jadeveon Clowney, which, I don't know that you'd see many linebackers on the field. They just rush like 8 guys, I think, if that was the case.
Yeah, him and Cameron Jordan make a nice little team there.
They really do.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I don't know.
Why though? Why? They got Marcus Davenport there, who I think was really starting to come in towards the end of last season.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
to spend that kind of money on Clowney and then refuse to play Kamara, I know he's getting epidurals on his free time here, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for the Saints to invest in Clowney when you've already got a solid option behind Cameron Jordan. Now, I know you want as many you can never have too many pass rushers, but in the same sense, you got to think about paying some other players here down the line here. And if you think Jameis Winston's your guy after Drew Brees, you're going to have to probably give him a bit of an increase in his pay as well.
Well, he's only signed to a 1-year deal, so I mean,
Right.
Isn't
Isn't their cap in pretty rough shape too?
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. But they were saying basically if they restructure Kamara, it's not going to matter. They can still get Kamara signed. It's not going to matter for this year's cap. But you know, for Clowney, he'd have to take a discount, I think, to play for the Saints.
Yeah.
Like
As we've seen anything with Clowney, he's not really one to take discounts to be playing football right now.
No.
he would have signed with Seattle a long time ago, I think, if that was the case. Because this has been a crazy draft because Kittle went ahead of Kelsey.
Are we in the same draft?
We might be. I got Nick Chubb. It is a Yahoo league, so Yahoo's Yahoo's rankings are kind of funky.
Funky.
The same thing just happened.
Let's try to be nice.
Kelsey went
just
17th.
went one
He went
pick.
17th overall, and Tyreek Hill is top man on the board. I'm up next in like 30 seconds.
That's all right. I'm going to take Mike Evans as a good consolation prize here. My third
There you
pick.
go.
This is a
Nice
10-teamer, by the way. So we can get. So I have Mike Evans, Michael Thomas, and Nick Chubb. So Wubba Lubba Chubb is on my team.
Wubba Lubba Chubb.
Shout out to the open bar for that. I won that shirt on the open bar, the Wubba Lubba Chubb shirt.
Oh,
I didn't know I was taking him, or else I would have wore it for this. But maybe that's what I'll name my team this year. Besides, I was Captain Obvious before. So I believe Dingus's wife is home, so he's passing the kids off to the wife, and then he's going to come back on here. So, in fact, there he is. He's
Sorry,
Yeah, I got you.
I'm running.
Huge
I'm running
draft coming
solo
up
tonight.
this
The wife went
Sunday.
out.
I'm excited for.
What was that?
The one with Johnny the Greek and one of his.
I'm in that. It's at 10
I got
o'clock
a
at
draft
night.
coming up. Yeah,
I gotta set an alarm
that's
for
the one.
that.
It's on Yahoo, right?
Yeah, I got to set an alarm for that for like 9:55 so I can make sure I'm awake. And if it was tomorrow night, I have a draft tomorrow night. I have one Monday, and I think I have one Tuesday. I have two Sunday, actually. I have well, my son does the drafting. That's his league, but I kind of oversee and make sure he doesn't do anything completely ridiculous. Like making sure he doesn't take Josh Rosen, who was just cut by the Dolphins.
Yeah, that guy's career just went down the drain so fast.
I hope he gets a shot somewhere because I liked him coming out, and he
He's had a
really
pretty-
has never gotten an
Yeah.
opportunity that in a stable offense for more than 5 seconds.
He's had a pretty tough road here.
Yeah. Oh man, but I thought we'd have some fun on IDP Nation the other day. We made some predictions, so I'm going to give you guys some opportunities to throw some crazy predictions, some crazy things out there. Doesn't have to be crazy. I mean, I picked some chalk kind of stuff. You know, I picked Chandler Jones. We'll start with sacks because we talk about sacks a lot on this show. I picked Chandler Jones to be the top sacker in the NFL this year. He had 19 last year. He's only a half a sack away from leading from Shaq Barrett. But I think Chandler Jones is a beast. And in IDP circles, he gets tremendously disrespected because of the position
Designation.
Like, it depends on what kind of league you're in as to where he falls. And I think a lot of times I have him slated down a little bit further because I base most of my rankings off of myfantasyleague.com because that's where most of my leagues are. It's where most dynasty leagues, I don't know, at least most dynasty leagues I am in. I know I'm a little, biased maybe in my love of my fantasy league, but he's a linebacker there. So that's what I view him as, because most of my leagues, that's what he is to me. So I got some vet running backs here. I got Connor, Gordon, Ingram, Gurley. I could take Juju.
Nope. That ain't it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not. Let's dig into that for a second. I'm not a Juju guy. I never have been. And sorry if you guys have heard this before. I respect the kid. He's a good talent. He's just not for me. And people say, well, why? I can't put my finger on it. The only thing I can tell you is that same tired argument where he was a stud when he was opposite Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown leaves and he shits the bed, right? So this season will be the make it or break it year. And I don't want to own a guy with such a high ADP like that, hoping, that he does what he's supposed to. If he was like an 8th round pick or a 9th round pick, sure. But as it stands now, he's like 28th overall. I'm not investing a late 2nd to early 3rd round pick, hoping the guy, really does it for me. I've said it a million times. My first, or in general, the first 4 or 5 picks of your draft, I think you got to hit a home run with each one. That's not the time to draft upside or, I'm going to draft him in the 3rd round because I think he's really going to do something. Then your team's going to already suck.
I went with Gurley because I think he's the only dude in that backfield in Atlanta. So,
yeah.
And that's a high-powered offense, even though their defense is very, very suspect this year.
Well, here's the thing. So you have Julio on one end, Calvin Ridley on the other, Hayden Hurst is there. So we're talking 1 or 2 plays, they can move the ball 70, 80 yards. Bang.
Yeah,
One play, they're inside the 5, give it to Gurley 2-3 times in a row, touchdown. You know what I mean? So I think Gurley's going to have a lot of games this season where he has like 40 yards, but he has 2 touchdowns, right? So we're not. Yeah. We're not looking at a lot of yardage from him this season, but I think we see 10+ touchdowns, and you can quote me on that.
Well, that's what he was. That's why he was still fantasy relevant last year, because he was still getting the touchdowns, but he wasn't getting all the points and all those receptions that he usually gets.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Rams were afraid to break him.
Yeah.
Last year, I don't think the Falcons are afraid to break him. He didn't sign that huge of a deal.
Well, again,
he's coming home to Georgia.
I don't know the Falcons. I mean, I lived in Atlanta briefly a long time ago, but I think that Atlanta, they feel like their window is now. I mean, they lost in the Super Bowl. We all know what happened there, and their window is like right now, so let's ride Gurley. I don't want to say Julio's on his last legs, but what is he, 31 years old, guys? I mean, that's old in terms of a stud, wide receiver. So, let's run these guys into the ground and let's go to the Super Bowl this season.
Honestly, we consider AJ Green ancient, and he's the same age as Julio.
Well, he's had a ton more soft tissue injuries, and he's missed a ton of time. Whereas I know Julio has had, foot surgery, but the guy still produces. AJ has completely, fallen off. But I'm big on AJ again this year too. So,
well, I'm gonna get Mark Andrews here, and with my 5th pick, to solidify my tight end spot here. So
I like that grab.
I like that pick.
How long is the clock per pick? I mean, I'm still
1 minute.
I haven't even I haven't even made a 3rd round selection yet. And you're in the
we're 1 minute, and most people are here. I think there's a couple people that are auto picking because that's what they do every year. I don't know why, but I don't know why you wouldn't want to take part in the draft. It's the best part of anything. And I'm sure Matt or Dingus can, I don't know, coach, whatever we call you, can attest to this. Even a 60-round eliminator draft with 17 teams is still entertaining.
Shaking its head already.
You know what?
Right up my
One
alley.
thing I do know is when we start to get deep in that draft, I'm going to go to Twitter and find out some IDP experts that can probably help me out here on this one.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I guess you wouldn't be calling yourself an expert, right? Right, Kyle?
Well, no.
I'll call you're an expert. I'll call him.
You have to ask. You got to ask Bellefeuil here who he thinks are expert.
Yeah. No, I knew it was coming. Make one honest mistake. I'm never going to hear the end of it. I already know.
You left him out on purpose.
I'll defend you on this. I hate these things because
I tried.
There's so many people to like try to remember. Like, I don't know. If I listed everybody I knew, I'd run out of characters and like I wouldn't be able to say anything. Like, honestly, the amount of people we've had on every show and like there's like hundreds of people that we've interacted with that we could name. So, don't. If that's why I don't do those things a lot of times because I don't want to leave anybody out and piss anybody off because whatever. I don't know.
Well, Coach hates me now.
Well, that's a good question.
That's why you're normally not on the same show together because you hate each other. It's a rivalry.
Right? Yeah.
I know I would have put Kyle in line.
Right? Oh, yeah. I know you would have. Yep.
But it's the Canadian in me where we like to be keep the peace and everything.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Speaking of Canadian, I know you're gonna watch the Game 7 tomorrow night. Islanders and Flyers. There's a couple Game 7s.
Yeah, we got a few going on. I think we got one tonight too. Vegas and Vancouver. They're on Game 7 tonight. So
Yeah.
Dallas just beat
7
Dallas
just beat Colorado. They're done. Colorado's done.
Dude took. I was gonna take Dak with my next pick, and dude took Dak right now from under. So I'm gonna wait him quarterback then.
I hate to move go back in the conversation, but I didn't want to interrupt while you guys were chatting. With fantasy football, Twitter, just social media in general, I find it to be very watered down. There's like tens of thousands of people that all want their opinion heard, right? What do you personally? You don't have to go around the room, but what do you think makes an expert or a professional fantasy football ranker, let's say? Because anybody can do it. That's the beauty of Kermit the Frog, and that's the beauty of social media there, Dingus.
Well, you hit the head. You hit it right on the head there. There's no such thing as an expert. There's people who get paid and people who don't get paid.
True.
Look at me. I'm doing fantasy football, and I wouldn't consider myself an expert, and neither does Kyle. So, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's people that you got to do your homework. Someone's going to do their homework. And you can tell right away when you talk to someone how much research they've done into something, how much work they've put into it. And then you can definitely get some validation in their opinions. But as far as, like you said, who's an expert, who's not an expert, who am I to judge who knows what they're doing and who's not doing? I remember my whole point of joining the SFP7 as an analyst. I was originally given the fan designation, and it got to that point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to start my own website. I'm going to start it from scratch because even at this point, there was people getting into it with an analyst title that were 18, 19 years old with maybe 1 year of fantasy football behind them. Whereas at the time, I was probably, 15, 20 years into fantasy football myself. So who's more of an analyst? Who's more of an expert? Someone with 20 years or someone with 1 year of experience? And then how do you differentiate between the two?
Absolutely. I agree with you there. I think, fantasy football in general, it's so fickle. And I know I'd be lying if I told you that when people comment and people say things, I look at their follower count, right? Is that odd of me? Is that wrong of me? Because I've seen a lot of cases where there's a guy with 10 followers, but he makes a lot of sense compared to some bum with 10,000 followers, right? So followers to me, it's a very, odd occurrence. And given the stage of, the state of fantasy football nowadays, you have to be very careful. You have to pick and choose who you're taking your advice from. That's why it's best to just do your own homework. Try your hardest to do your own rankings. Don't rely on anybody else because, do your own thing, and then everything else will just come, right? You'll be able to answer that question a year later that you didn't know how you got yourself in that situation the year prior. So it's real strange, but I love it.
And it's not just that. It's even though I'm Canadian friendly, I'm very petty as well. And when it comes to we're talking about these follower accounts, and like you mentioned, the follower. But some of these guys with these 5,000 followers are also following 4,999, going follower for follower. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it's good to follow people back, but sometimes these follower counts, especially the high ones, can be quite deceiving, right? So
I don't know. I kind of give people shots. I'll read a couple articles. I'll listen to a couple podcasts. If I kind of, I don't want to say if I agree with what you're saying, but I can see the logic behind what you're talking about, then I will, continue to listen, continue to check in, and tune in. If you are just Mr. Hot Take and that's all you do is hot take and victory lap this and victory lap that, then I don't have time to pay attention to you celebrating yourself and patting yourself on the back too much.
Yeah, well, the only reason I asked that is because I'll pull the curtain back. I send out emails every day to the biggest sites: ESPN, CBS, Yahoo, Fantrax. I've applied at all of them, and sometimes I hear back, sometimes I don't. Recently, it's just like a blind squirrel will find a nut every once in a while. I mean, I like to stay humble, because once someone gets into that, that asshole, like I'm the man vibe, I mean, it doesn't really make sense, because fantasy football is kind of like telling the weather. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, and in between, it's just all relative, right? Well, I like out of the blue, like 5 days ago, I'm a ranker on Fantasy Pros now, and I had applied like 10 months ago. They didn't even send me an email back saying, yeah, you can rank. I just logged on one day and I had, admin ranking privileges out of nowhere. So, I send out so many emails and I do so much, so much stuff, and hoping one day, what's the biggest fantasy football podcast in the world? Probably the Footballers, or the one on ESPN with Matthew Berry, right?
Yeah, I would say those two are the two big ones.
No joke. I send all those shows an email every other day. No, I'm not kidding you. And maybe it'll be never, maybe it'll be 5 years from now, maybe it'll be next week. And they'll say, you know what? Quit bugging us. Just come on for 5 minutes. And I don't care. It's a success. So shoot your shot. I shoot my shot literally every day. And not to be a weirdo or rude, but I feel like it's starting to pay off a little bit.
Yeah, you're here, right?
What, second time or third time?
Well, second time, and I think you were drafting once too.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you were off camera, I think, for that maybe. Hey, look who decided to join us.
What's going on, fellas?
Oh, he's got a shirt on. Damn it!
He's got a shirt on. I don't see.
God. And he's got a hat. I don't see a bandana.
Come on, we were expecting more.
Camera's blurry.
What?
It's sweat from his chest. He was dancing. He was dancing around without his shirt on. Just whoop.
He may have been.
I didn't just make that up.
Darrell's confused.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Well, we were saying that you would come on camera and you would be shirtless, waving your shirt around your head and cracking beers like Stone Cold and
spilling suds.
Yeah, just going crazy.
I like that hat. I like that hat, Hollywood. That looks like my old alma mater, my college, Golden Grizzlies logo.
It's Tennessee Smokies.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I know we started this conversation. Who's going to lead the league in sacks? I said it was Chandler Jones. Darrell and I talked about this the other day on the show. What do you guys think? Who's going to be?
Lead the season in sacks?
Yep.
Randy Gregory.
2020, who's going to lead the league? Randy Gregory. If sacks was a code word for something else, then maybe.
Oh, wrong kind of sacks. Never mind.
It's got, like the smart money would be on like one of the Bosa brothers, right? The Bosa in
not according to Darrell.
In San Francisco.
I'll take Myles Garrett.
I'm just, spitballing here, just going through everything because, I mean, shit, Darrell Hunter in Minnesota is a stud. I know Hollywood loves him, but to me, I'm not even talking fantasy football or IDP. I'm just talking like real life watching football. The most exciting players on the field to me are those safeties or those cornerbacks who blitz all the time, right? So, those stud safeties like Jamal or Landon Collins, guys like that, right? And you guys might rake me over the coals for this, but I don't know who led the league in sacks last season.
Shaq Barrett, 19 and a half.
That's right. Yeah, and he had like he tailed off real quick because didn't he had like 13 or 14 in like 9 or 10 weeks, and then he went cold for like 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, and then he heated back up towards the end of the season again. So I can't say he was a complete flash in the pan, but he's not. I don't think he's going to repeat that. He might get double digits again, but I don't think he's coming anywhere close to 20.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a sneaky guys. I think I don't know if I talked about it with you guys. I talked about it somewhere. Bradley Chubb in Denver. As a rookie, he had, what did he have? Over 12 and a half. And he didn't even play a full season because he hurt his knee, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, he shows some flash, and looks to be healthy this season.
Yeah, I like Chubb to bounce back. I mean, like I said, the injury kind of hurt him. They were off to a slow start in Denver, both of them. And Von Miller never really got it going without Chubb there. So I don't know if it's a change of scheme that hurt him more, or just they couldn't get anything going, it seemed like, in Denver. So I'm taking Cam Akers. Coach isn't here. He'd be happy.
Oh, he'd be real happy.
He's my backup running back here. So, which I probably will need drafting Gurley. So now I'm going to hit the defensive side of the ball because nobody's drafted in defense. So
start the run.
What round are you in?
We are in. This will be the 10th round coming up.
And there's not been one IDP taken, huh?
No. Well, there's only 4 slots. You have two whatevers, so you could have whatever.
Yeah.
And then 1 D lineman and 1 D back. Most of the time, the defenders are linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take Darius Leonard if these guys don't do that. Maybe they have this on and in their Zoom call that they're doing, and they're listening to me.
I found great success in the past. I won a championship last year in an IDP league. I think I started drafting IDP in like the 4th round, and it was Leonard, right? And I had CMC was the like 2nd or 3rd overall pick, Devontae Adams, Deshaun Watson, and then I didn't even draft another offensive player for like 10 rounds. I built an absolute monster of a defensive team. I've even sent you guys screenshots, if I'm not mistaken. I know for sure I sent that defensive roster to you, Hollywood, and it's unbelievable. And it's only gotten better. I picked up Chase Young and Patrick Queen at 11 and 12 in this past month's draft.
Thank good Lord.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, with 4 starters, it's not imperative. Now, what I do need to know is we do kick returns. So who's the kick returners? Who's the DBs that are going to kick return this year?
Akeem, what's his name? Grant in Miami. He got me some points the last few seasons returning kicks. Jamal Agnew in Detroit, even though looks like they're moving him to wide receiver here, but their rookie Jason Huntley, you could just pick him up off the waiver wire. Like, no one's drafting him. He's going to make the team, and it looks like he's going to be returning kicks.
Is anybody that's like going to play? Because I like to throw a DB that returns kicks.
Desmond King.
That DB spot.
I was gonna say I usually go for Desmond King. I know Hollywood's big on him too.
King may be the James replacement in.
Could be.
Yeah, but he's still going to be their punt returner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm saying that'd be a good, because I want somebody that's going to play some defense too, because I know Agnew is the kick returner for Detroit, but he doesn't really play a whole lot besides the kick return game.
Well, he's going to this season. By all reports, and obviously they have Kenny and Marvin and TJ. He's not going to get. I'd be lucky if he sees 15 or 20 targets this season. So. Yeah,
so we got a couple picks. Nobody's gone there yet, so it's looking good for me to get Leonard, and I'll start the run, the maniac. Then everybody will be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot we do defensive players."
You're gonna start the run, Dan.
Yeah, I mean we're in round 9.
What
I mean, this
round
is
are
round
you
10.
in?
Round 10. So
That's
I've got
ludicrous.
my whole lineup.
That's ludicrous.
Now, Kyle, talk me off the ledge because I took your boy Aaron Rodgers. Is he done?
Oh.
Is he toast?
No.
No, I think he's gonna have a good year.
Okay.
I really do.
'Cause I didn't want to do it, but somebody took Matt Ryan right before me. Pick right before me. I was going to take Matt Ryan. Drew Brees went 2 picks before that. I was like,
Yeah.
The 2 guys I was targeting, the dome guys.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with those 2 in a dome.
I think you'll be all right. A-Rod will do it for you, man.
Yeah, I'll have to get somebody
Oh, Lord.
to
I know Darrell don't like to hear that.
yeah.
I'm sure Chris.
This
don't
show
either.
has went to
And Zach.
The thing about Rodgers, though,
This show has
looking
went to
at
complete shit already.
looking at Rodgers, I mean, Minnesota doesn't have any proven corners. I mean, Detroit has Okuda and Trufant, so they've actually probably proved their corners.
Tracy Walker in the back, the safety.
I'm just talking strictly corners, like
Okay.
one-on-ones. Safeties. I mean, really, Minnesota has Harrison Smith is probably their best defender.
Their rookie cornerback, Jeff Gladney, has looked fantastic. He's going to be their CB1 right off the get here.
Rookies are rookies, though. Rookies can be had. Rookies, the old wily veterans can always.
I'd like to think Devontae Adams gets the best of them right away.
So here is the dangers. So here is a public service announcement for people drafting on Yahoo. Don't auto pick because the pick directly after Darius Leonard, I will pay somebody $50 if you can tell me who was drafted after Darius Leonard on the defensive side of the ball.
Luke Kuechly.
Nah, not Luke. This isn't Sleeper.
Hunter.
Oh,
right?
okay. I thought. It's Yahoo. Sorry. Okay.
It's Yahoo. So I got one wrong answer. Luke Kuechly is incorrect.
Right. Oh God, yeah, I've seen Kuechly in a lot of sleeper drafts.
Yeah.
That's
Still on
Sleeper.
the board.
Yeah, this is on Yahoo. Auto pick defender.
What
Nobody?
position?
Huh?
What position?
Linebacker. I got another great one for you after that too. I got like 3 great ones.
Navarro Bowen.
No, not Navarro Bowman. Now, this person might actually play, but the problem is he's just not he's not a top guy.
I don't know.
So I have a question for you guys.
It's a Landon Roberts was the one taken. So I don't have to spend my $50. The next defender was Brandon Wilson.
Who?
Safety from Cincinnati, backup safety.
Wow.
And Anthony Levine Sr. from Baltimore was chosen too. So yeah, do not auto pick an IDP draft on Yahoo. It will not work out for you.
Definitely not.
And I'm going to take my boy Buddha.
There you go.
Actually, no, you know what? I want
My Ninja Buddha. So I got a question for you guys that's not anything fantasy sports or football related, if I may, guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I just finished a show.
Oh, you may.
I'm just looking for like my next big show to watch on either Prime or Netflix. I watched Cobra Kai. I didn't even know that was a thing. It was pretty good. I'm not a guy who's into like the Karate Kid movies, but the Cobra Kai was pretty good. And then I wanted to watch The Boys on Netflix, and I thought I could watch the whole season, but there was only 3 episodes. And what are they doing week to week now? I thought that was the whole point of Netflix and Amazon Prime Originals, where you can stream the whole thing. So I need a show to watch tonight and for the foreseeable future.
Did you already knock out Ozark?
Ozark's really good.
Ozark's pretty good. I have not been able to watch. See, with kids, it's difficult to find time to watch stuff like that because, you never know what's going to pop up on the screen. Sean guessed Shazier was the missing person, but no, it was a Landon Roberts. And like I said, Anthony Levine was drafted. Let's see, Vita Vea. I don't know. That might have been an actual pick though. Christian Wilkins. So yeah, Yahoo. If you're in a Yahoo draft, do not auto pick your defense because this is the kind of crap that happens to you. Now I am going to take a defensive lineman here as my next pick, and these numbers they have. I don't know. Maybe
hey, share that screen. Let the people see what you're choosing from. Put that old share screen on there, and let's take a look at what we're dealing with.
Let's see here.
So I did this the other day. We were doing a live draft as well as a podcast. I put it on there and basically let everyone that was on the show choose our team for me.
So you can see I've basically got my pick. So I'm going to go with Myles Garrett.
Hollywood. Are you going to let him do that, Hollywood?
This
isn't Dynasty.
He's
this
fired.
Is redraft. This isn't Dynasty.
Who cares?
This is redraft.
Again, who cares?
Garrett's going to have quarterbacks this year. Actually, I should have found my guy. Where's my guy down here?
Yeah, he's way down there. Just keep scrolling.
Fowler?
Well, where's this is defensive lineman? I guess he's probably under. Let's see.
See, this is throwing me off because there should be like a category like edge one. You know what I mean? There should be like an edge category.
One. Yes.
Make it easier.
Well, according to Yahoo ranks, Daniel Hunter is behind Jesse Bates in the defensive rankings here.
Yeah, Yahoo's high though.
But yeah, that's what I was looking at there. Dane Cruikshank was just drafted.
Jesus.
Is there something we don't know, Hollywood? Is he taking over for Bayard or something?
No, I don't know. Sounds
so
like
I
an
have
alphabetical pick.
I have put this out there for a couple of years now. Yahoo, do you want some help with IDP? Because as Chris was saying earlier, I've offered my assistance for your IDP department for years because your drafts and your rankings and stuff just don't make sense.
Well, yeah. Yahoo needs to hit us up because we've got 5 experts in here and 1 dingus. So.
Yeah, all night.
You know what I've said before. I like about a month ago actually a few months ago when baseball first started back up. On FanDuel, you click on a player and it has like a little paragraph or a couple sentences, right? And I think they sold it off to the guys at Numberfire because it always used to be RotoWire that did the paragraph or a few sentences per guy. And they moved it to Numberfire, and it's just been god awful. Like Max Scherzer, opening day, it said, Max Scherzer, high upside arm. That's all it said. I mean, how fucking lazy do you have to be to just write like literally 5 or 6 words? So I actually did. I told you guys, I'm being honest with you. I emailed FanDuel and said, what are we doing here? Because they're partners with DFS Cheat Sheet. The guy, his name's Jeremy, the owner, the guy who hired me to write at Cheat Sheet. He has an in at FanDuel, and they're always going back and forth. I said, well, get us in. I would do that full time, writing player bios on FanDuel and DraftKings. Come on.
All right, so here's my cheat code for people. I am, we here agree with Alex in the F team defense thing here, but this league has team defenses, and the league I drafted last night has team defenses. Your top team defense for week 1 streaming, what do you think it is? I know who it is because I took them last night. I'm going to take them again today.
Say that again. Top streaming team defense.
Streaming team defense. I know this is an IDP show, but some people
still playing Jacksonville week 1.
That's the correct answer. It's the
Yeah,
Indianapolis Colts.
Colts.
That's who I
Colts.
took last night. That's who I'm taking tonight, and I'll worry about week 2 later.
Yep.
Dingus, you got to say it right, Dingus. You have to say it right.
How can he say it like that when he's got Gardner Minshew's body with his face
I
on it?
will not recognize that name until you say it right. Say it with me. Sucksonville. Sucksonville.
Tannehill.
Yeah, he sucks. I agree. He does suck.
You know what, though?
He doesn't, though. I
Jacksonville,
love Tanny.
Jacksonville is all in on the tank for Trevor. Because
Breaking news: they just traded their water boy.
Hey, that water
I
boy.
wouldn't be surprised. They've traded everybody, basically, the Big Ten trade. But I heard an interview with Gardner Minshew, and Minshew does make a point. He's like, I'm not going out there to tank because if we have a losing season, I'm probably out of a job, which he's correct. And Doug Maroon's probably out of a job, and everybody else on that team is,
I saw
except for
rumblings
maybe-
earlier today that Miles Jack was going to be the next one they traded. And I've not seen any confirmation of that
I
or
wouldn't doubt
anything.
that, honestly. They just signed Schobert.
Yeah.
Why even bother signing Schobert to a huge deal if you're just going to tank anyway?
Is anybody going to take on that contract though? Miles Jack has.
No.
Probably not.
They paid him pretty well. I mean,
Yeah,
they did.
it's almost like they're getting rid of everybody from the former regime. Everybody.
right. I agree. Yeah, it'll be tough for somebody to want to trade for Jack though with that contract and what you really get. He hasn't been playing too well.
So we're winding down. I took Baker as my backup quarterback.
Why do I
don't know.
You guys hearing
Making,
beeping?
like pizza pops on the side.
keep
Who's running a microwave? Come on.
Yeah.
Mute your damn microphone if you're doing that shit, Darrell.
I keep hearing a microwave going off. Who's making pizza rolls every 2 seconds? You making frozen burritos? What's going on?
You need to share.
It's not.
Come on.
It's not me. It is
Not
me,
you.
but it's not me. It's my house. I'll put it that way. It's not me, but it's the house.
Are you teach you how to turn off?
Are you defusing a bomb? Are you in an action movie
I
right
could
now?
be.
What's going on over there?
I could be.
All right.
So you're saying Desmond King is going to lead the DBs? And actually, somebody took him.
Oh, really?
Son
Well, they're
of
very
a
smart. See, that's smart people right there. Oh my God.
That frozen burrito's got to be burned by now. It's
probably, yeah. Got to be. Did Darrell make his picks and his eliminators? Because he was up in like every single one of them that he's in.
Yeah,
His pick.
I made my pick.
It's my turn to draft. I don't want any of these players. I'm going to take a linebacker.
I don't either. That's why I keep not picking.
I'm going to go with my Homer pick if he's still here. Probably not. I'm going to go with Bobby Wagner.
How is he still available in the redraft if Desmond King was selected, but Bobby Wagner's still on the board?
See,
It makes no sense.
we've been doing this league for a while, and people know the cheat codes. So people do pay attention. Those of them not auto picking, they do pay attention to the cheat code known as the kick returners.
So I got a quick question real quick. I'm on the clock. In front of me, I got to fill my flex spot, right? There's like 3 or 4 guys, Matt Breida in Miami, Sterling Shepard, or McCole Hardman in Kansas City.
Those are some pretty good options.
Yeah, I'm in the 8th round. I'm 94th overall. I think I want Hardman.
I'm thinking the same thing. That's where I'm leaning.
Yeah. Well, I wanted Christian Kirk, but he was picked like the pick right before me, so I'll go Hardman.
Yeah, I like it. Gotta love getting a piece of that offense.
Yeah, if Hill goes down, Hardman's going to be the next guy up, really. So,
God forbid. Gotta say that.
Right. God forbid.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It's
Should I
not gonna be
take
Byron single?
Juju.
You know what? Hollywood might like this one. You know, God willing and the creek don't rise, right?
What's that
Right.
Tui something or other? He had some kind of
Tui, throw it away.
yeah. There you go. Whatever that is. All right, I need a non-week
It's
9
just the
bye
same.
week.
Tui, throw it away.
You know what? I had Devin Singletary still sitting here in the 15th round.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That's pretty dang good value.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to
so-
take him then, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to at this point. I think a lot of people are scared because, you know, they use the F word when talking about Singletary the other day.
Awesome.
Fumbling.
Oh,
He was fumbling a lot in camp. So I think people are scared because the Zach Moss hype was ramped up again the other day.
I'm telling you, Zach Moss is going to cut into singles, right into those touches there, especially from the
Oh, yeah, he is.
I just don't think it's as extreme as some people
Oh,
make
yeah.
it out to be. I think it's going to be like a 50-50 split between Singletary and Moss. By the time
unfortunately, that 50-50 split is going to end up with 6 points going into Moss's back pocket more often than not.
yeah.
Yeah, I got a question for Zach.
What's up?
What's the latest news on Montgomery there in Chicago?
I just drafted him.
As far as I know, they're just holding him out. They haven't. I mean, there hasn't been much coming out about the groin. But I know he's being held out, and from everything I've read, they say it's not serious, but you know, it's hard telling. But I'm not gonna lie, that groin injury does scare me a little bit, just because with him being the workhorse back, and the groin injuries seem to linger on almost every football player.
Yeah.
So,
but
we'll
did
see.
he have to go get an epidural for it?
I don't think so.
He got it right in his dingus. They gave it right in the dingus. Hopefully, it goes
Epidural right in the dingus.
Right in the dingus.
Right before my hip surgery.
That's a
I've had
t-shirt,
two hip
right in the
surgeries
dingus.
now. I've had 2 hip surgeries in my day. And before they even do the hip surgery, they wanted to give me a cortisone shot. Well, they took that needle and they shoved it right in here. And it was like one of those deals. It was like this long, and it kept going in, and in your hip socket, you had this like little dark area. They had to get it right in there. And you're like watching it on the screen. They show the needle going in. You're like, if you would have stuck a walnut in my butt cheek,
that's what she said.
Cracked that thing in half.
Yeah, I do that anyways.
You know what? I've been focusing on my draft. I forgot about the chat here. I am about to draft Dallas Goedert. Is anybody else collecting Dallas Goedert in redraft, or am I the only one?
No, more dynasty than anything.
Yes.
Probably
dynasty. Yeah.
Probably about 2, maybe even 3 months ago. I didn't get into an argument, but it was a spirited conversation with some idiot on, I believe it was Facebook. Anyways, who would you rather own, long-term, Ertz or Goddard? And I said it's got to be Goddard because
he's
they're
younger.
not going to pay Ertz, right? They're not going to give him. Yeah, they're not going to give him money, and I could definitely see a situation where they're mixing in Goddard more, and they're going to let Ertz walk. And lo and behold, what was it? This past week, the contract situations have completely, crumbled. So
yeah, they've stopped talking. So we have a question up on the board here. Need to roster 2 linebackers out of Kwiatkowski. I guess we need some clarification. Is this redraft or dynasty? Because my answer is different depending on if it's redraft or dynasty.
Well, let's pretend it's redraft, because if we're doing dynasty, it's got to be Murray and Queen. Hands down.
Absolutely.
Now, if we're talking redraft, this is where it gets interesting. I think it's Queen for sure in redraft, and then it's going to get interesting how you see these other 3. For me personally, I know Bell, the IDP expert up there, is probably going to lean Kirksey. Me being the amateur that gets no respect, I'm probably going to lean towards Kwiatkowski, because I think the Raiders' defense is going to be on the field, and the game script is going to dictate where him and Littleton get a lot into the running game. So I would take Kwiatkowski here. Murray, I won't argue if Murray is the guy that you guys want to choose in redraft. I just don't see Chargers linebackers being the answer when you're talking IDP and redraft. So,
No matter what way you slice it, for me, it's Queen and Kirksey. No, excuse me, Dynasty. It's obviously Murray and Queen, but still in redraft, Queen and Kirksey.
I just can't trust Kirksey's health. That's the
no love for Quate, huh?
Yep. Yeah, I'm actually. I was gonna say for redraft, I'm Nick Kwiatkowski and Patrick Queen.
That's what I'm going with as well.
I think Kwiatkowski's gonna lead the Raiders in tackles this year. I mean, I think Littleton's gonna be the cover guy, and that's gonna be Kwiatkowski's gonna be the man to clean up everything, and he's gonna rack up the tackles, and he proved he can make big plays for the Bears last year. So I think everybody's underestimating his abilities.
Yep.
I'm a well-known Littleton here, so
yeah, he's always produced when he's been given the chance. He just never has been given a full chance.
Yeah,
exactly. Yep, and now he's got that chance.
Nick is getting Kwiatkowski's getting no love.
I agree.
He's like linebacker 42, 43. Whereas absolutely. And if you look at it, Kirksey is like linebacker 2021. So it's like, is it fool's gold maybe with Kirksey being, top 20, just on the cusp of on the outside of the top 20. And then you go all the way down the list. And as I said, Kwiatkowski's like linebacker, 40. So we're talking 20 spots in that specific position.
I love the irony in Kirksey being Christian Kirksey of all linebackers being the last man standing on his team. Because that Green Bay Packer linebacking core has taken a hit.
Yes,
even Kamel Martin's gone down.
Yes.
Oren Burks can't stay healthy. Christian Kirksey's got a history of not being able to get in the lineup and staying in the lineup. That's where my concern is with Kirksey.
Yes.
The talent is there. The opportunity is going to be there. The talent is there. He could be I think Kirksey could range from a top 20 linebacker all the way to linebacker 80, depending on health. I just think Kwiatkowski there, he's got that floor, that higher floor than Kirksey, and I want that higher floor.
See, I know I'm a homer because I'm a Packer fan, but I think.
But you're in Michigan, so how can you be a homer?
Hey, I get it. But I mean, the role that Kirksey inherits here is just so big. But yeah, the biggest concern is the health. I mean, the guy just hasn't been able to stay healthy. He's talented, and the role is just fantastic. But if he can't stay healthy, it's definitely a concern. So I would take Kirksey and Queen, but
super deep sleeper in Green Bay is Ty Summers.
Ty Summers been working hard all summer, and they're really happy with his progress.
Super deep sleeper.
Yeah. And like Coach said, he's just about the last one standing here.
Yeah.
You know what the old saying?
Very true. And he did well last year in the preseason.
Yep.
You can build, going back to the injury history here with Kirksey, all it takes is one injury to get yourself labeled that way. You can go your whole life and you can build houses and you're like a carpenter. You can go and you can build fireplaces and you'd be a masonry. You suck on one toe, and all of a sudden you're a toe sucker. That's your label, right?
That's it. All
right, I need a kicker.
You put one walnut up your ass. You like to put walnuts up your ass.
See how we did it? Right, the kicker. I love it.
It really was a fantastic analogy.
I'm going to take Steven Gostkowski because he's the kicker for Tennessee. They're going to kick lots of field goals in Tennessee.
Attaboy.
That's kind of insult. They're not going to score touchdowns.
Most valuable Titan right there.
I'm sure they will.
Well, last night I took Derrick Henry. I sent him a message. I said, "Yeah, I'm never going to be able to live this down." I took Derrick Henry in a redraft because it's a redraft. And
excuse my
language. See, you're learning.
I love Derrick Henry this season. I have him third overall in my rankings, and I don't give a shit.
That's it. Like Beastie's my new BFF.
I was just going to say Hollywood. Yep. He's going to love it.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's flip this conversation.
The rest of you are out. Beastie's in.
We just talked about Kwiatkowski there. Who are let's go around the room here and go your most underrated, most disrespected players per position. Like who's your 101 for most disrespected defensive end?
Well, here, hold before we answer that. Here's the answer for most disrespected player. PFF, their Twitter account, just put out the Last Dance 10-part documentary with Mitchell Trubisky's body in the middle of it. That is huge. That is hilarious, first of all, but it's huge disrespect. Because basically you're saying this is his last season in Chicago.
It'll never get old.
It never will, but that's
a fantastic idea though. That has collaboration article written all over it. Most disrespectful guy at each position. You know, maybe we should get in a little group chat here later on, or just say it right now. I'll write them down, and you can publish.
We're live, man. Go for it.
Well, you do realize I hate writing. Writing is the one thing I hate doing more than anything else.
I love it. So we're good. I'll be you just speak to me and I'll write it down.
I like writing too.
I'm just here to be the muse. I'm here to be the muse.
Get the creative juices flowing.
I'm the
Use your
idea guy.
imagination.
Suggests everything but never gets anything done. But
I
seriously,
kind of agree with this. Cameron Jordan does get he doesn't get put in that top tier, and he definitely belongs in that top tier of edge rushers.
And he never misses a game ever.
And don't
Exactly. He's
and don't
the
you
dude-
think that's going to even be worse if they sign Clowney? I mean, if they sign Clowney, he's just going to get overlooked even more. I think he will.
Clowney ain't going to do.
I mean, he is
overlooked. I think
overlook him. I think the fantasy community is who overlooks him.
I mean,
that's
he's
what I'm
definitely
saying.
a
The
top.
fantasy community, because everybody loves Clowney apparently.
I don't.
I think.
And where does he
Cameron
sign?
Jordan's
Where do y'all
top
think he's
MDE.
signing?
Apparently the Saints.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, if you're going to go take we're going to let Sean take Cameron Jordan, I'm going to stick with another Cameron who gets absolutely no respect, and that's Hayward in Pittsburgh. We're talking about a guy no one ever talks about. All Cameron Hayward does is produce. I bet you last year, I don't know what site we're going to use here for the stats, but I bet you he was 5-6 at the defensive end position as far as points go.
Yeah,
He was definitely up there. He
and
was
Darrell
definitely up there.
Casey,
I would agree with that.
he and Darrell Casey are in the same boat as they get pigeonholed into that big tackle, that 3-4 defensive end that, it seems like J.J. Watt's the only 3-4 defensive end that gets any respect. That's because he really plays out on the edge. He doesn't really play that interior line. Maybe Donald gets the respect, I guess, too. But he's kind of a deep tackle. So, I mean, again, you're splitting hairs of where they're playing. But, yeah, Hayward definitely does get disrespected.
I'm just pulling up his Yahoo profile real quick, and Hayward had 51 solo, 32 assists, 11 tackle for loss, 9 sacks, 6 pass defense, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and a block kick.
Unbelievably productive and fantastic. I think that Pittsburgh defense in general is just going to be off the charts, good, and that's not a secret.
I think. I mean,
they're going to miss Hargrave though.
About him. Yeah.
No,
I think one guy we always seem to forget about too is T.J. Watt. I mean, I don't. He does not get talked about enough. I mean, I know with his designation it makes it hard, but T.J. Watt does not. He does not get a lot of credit that he deserves.
I have him in my top 12 linebackers, so I don't disrespect.
And he is the edge one.
Edge one. Dynasty?
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, what were you doing?
Redraft.
Recognize
It's Chandler Jones still.
Hollywood, did you have a ferret? Is that what that was? A ferret on your shoulder? I know.
No,
I know.
Oh, okay.
So how about
One big
defensive tackle Kenny Clark?
He got paid.
He did get paid. He got respected by his team. But, I mean, fantasy-wise, when you name the top defensive tackle, you hear Donald, Buckner, maybe Jarrett.
Chris Jones.
Chris Jones is up there. Yeah.
Pretty much it.
Chris Jones,
You stop talking.
Yeah.
He's disrespected. I mean, Fletcher Cox used to get the pub. He's dropped off the last couple seasons.
Cox.
You know which vet hasn't really lost a step at the defensive tackle position? Donkey Kong Sue.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Still in the top
Yep.
10.
He keeps on plugging.
Geno Atkins was disrespected.
He
I don't
dropped
know.
down
I
good
always,
last year.
I always had Atkins as a top 5
Yeah.
defensive back. So
I got one
know.
for you guys. Defensive end Carlos Dunlap.
Yeah, that was going to be my pick too, Jack.
Absolutely.
See, and he is,
Oh, that's a good one.
he is,
Good pick.
he is, yeah, redraft. He's a guy where I basically, redraft. He's a top 10 option for redraft. He's going to get you. 10
He's number
sacks
8.
probably.
He's DE 8 for me.
He
Yeah.
came in clutch at the end of the season for a lot of IDP teams. So he
In a
started.
dynasty,
He just started.
I'm looking to ship him off for value, but I mean, you're not going to get much value for him at this point. You might as well ride him out the last couple seasons he's got.
Yeah, him and Justin Houston.
Who would you
are a
rather
couple of
have?
those things.
Who would you rather have long term in Cincinnati, Dunlap or Sam Hubbard? They're like within a few spots. Like I have Dunlap DE 8 and Hubbard defensive end 10. So it's just like
I guess Hubbard's just going to play longer, so I'd rather have the guy that's going to play longer.
They're both pretty
Yeah,
good.
I think you got to go
would-
Hubbard
yeah.
because of the age.
Yeah, same with me. I would have to
I
stick with
think that's where
Hubbard.
you got to go.
old mother
In a
Hubbard.
dynasty, that is. I mean, yeah.
How about Melvin Ingram on defense?
But here's one for you that most people forgot about last year because he was hurt is Malik. What's his name?
Ingram is the guy
it
in
just
the
slipped
middle.
my mind.
I have Dunlap at 8, Ingram at 9, and then as I said, Hubbard at 10. So
Ingram was defensive end 14 in this basic. It's pretty basic scoring for IDP. And he just this year he's down there with Dunlap. Like you're barely drafting him in a mock draft.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to think that my IDP rankings are kind of progressive and they're fantastic, better than most.
Here's a redraft.
Yeah. No, mine are dynasty.
Sweet.
So you're looking
Well,
at
the ones that are on now, like, are redraft. I don't know. It seems like a ton of work to have 2 separate rankings, one for dynasty, one for redraft, because they're all. I mean, if someone's playing IDP, then they know the deal. You don't just casually play IDP and start talking about 10th overall defensive end. So, the deal.
Right.
Yeah, I just think that. See, and I look at guys that are plus 30. They can just get dropped down in my rankings just because I'm only going to have them for a couple years. Whereas if I can have, and like you said about Dunlap and Hubbard, if I'm going to have Hubbard for another 5 years more than I'm going to have Dunlap, then I'd rather have that guy that's producing about the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, if you got 2 guys that are producing the same, you generally got to go with the younger guy because you can keep them longer.
If you're looking at redraft, it's a 1-year shot. So it's kind of like, okay, I want the guy that's going to score the most points this year. I don't care about the future. I don't care how old they are. It's kind of like, Manny Sanders as a wide receiver in redraft is, I'd take him over basically almost all the rookies this year at wide receiver.
Speaking of old balls, what about Everson Griffin this year with Dallas, opposite of DeMarcus Lawrence?
Yeah.
Great spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it irritated me the other
put him
day
in
on
that
NFL Network.
7 to
The
9
NFL
sack.
The NFL Network annoys me a lot only because they talk about Tampa Bay 24/7. And when they aren't talking about Tampa Bay, they talk about Dallas. But they were talking about Mike Nolan bringing more of a hybrid defense to Dallas rather than the 4-3 they've been running. I just hope that doesn't mess with any of our positions. I don't think it will, just because I don't think it's necessarily a traditional 3-4 they're switching to. Probably more of a 3-3-5.
Yeah, doesn't sound like a traditional 3-4 anyway.
Yeah. So I mean,
well, they're definitely not going to ask Everson Griffin to do what Robert Quinn was doing last year and rush from where he was rushing from. So,
well, speaking of Dallas, what the hell happened with HaHa Dix? Is it a shoe in that they're bringing in Earl Thomas, the guy behind me here?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. If any team were to do that, it would be Dallas. But I don't know what people just. I had never heard of Earl Thomas being such an asshole. I mean, I know he flipped off Pete Carroll, but I mean, Baltimore did not fool around. They got rid of him like very quickly for who knows what he did or what he said in the locker room, but his teammates and the coaching staff wanted nothing to do with him.
Well,
He had
apparently
some
one of the-
issues with his brother this offseason.
Well, yeah, they're banging the same girl. Yeah, they're Chinese finger cuffing someone, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little brotherly love sex party action.
Nothing wrong with space docking.
Talking with your brother.
Beastie is the best. I love him.
Love you too. Thanks for
Beastie
having
is
me.
awesome.
Thanks for having me here.
Chinese finger
apparently,
cuffing. I love it.
You never heard of that one, Hollywood?
Well, I don't think the Ravens.
Hollywood's
heard
heard
of
I
of
have
it.
not.
Hollywood's heard of it.
But
Has he
apparently, during a meeting, he was going to get his car washed and was basically like, late to a meeting because he was getting his car washed, which, the team was probably irritated at that. And God knows how many times that happened before this year. Like last year, maybe late to last year, they just overlooked it because they were winning. Might be a last straw. It seems like Chuck Clark is one of the team leaders on the team, and he and Calais Campbell, I would guess, is a team leader. I would just assume that just because he's Calais Campbell.
Yeah.
I just they kind of put their heads together and said, this dude's got to go, and they probably went to John Harbaugh. Seems like, or Jim, or John, right? John Harbaugh.
John. Yeah.
They probably went to him and was like, yeah, this dude's got to go. Like he's killing the team here.
And let's be honest, Baltimore's putting something together real special there on both sides of the ball.
That defense is going to be scary.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, they made a bunch of trades to stop Derrick Henry, so there are a bunch of deals.
All they needed was Jacksonville front, and they got it done.
Yeah.
You want to stop Derrick Henry, you get Calais Campbell involved.
Yep.
Yeah.
That said, now let's take a look at Earl Thomas. I think he's done in the NFL. I really do. His talent has dropped off considerably, in my opinion.
He was never a good IDP player. Let me be honest.
He was horrible.
He's never a good IDP.
You didn't want him on any of your roster.
Yeah.
But you've now been kicked off the two teams in the NFL that have probably the two most friendly player coaches in Harbaugh and Carroll. These are guys who love their guys. Carroll will go to war for any of his players, and so will Harbaugh. And you've now played yourself off those teams because you're too busy making the sex with your brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These options, you're
Pete
done.
Carroll took his whole team to the voting booth to go get the vote the other day.
I don't see how he's going to come. I do see how that's going to happen, but I don't see how he's going to come back to the NFL right now. Nate's not in the back room right now. Is he watching what's going on?
It was not me this time.
I blame Beastie up at the top. That's my defense right now.
It's live TV, man.
Don't you dare blame Beastie. Beastie has been gold this show. Don't you blame him.
I wasn't going to say anything, Sean, but you might have a point there.
There's no bleeping. There's nothing.
Just being
There's
myself.
nothing I can do about these rants.
Well, here's the thing, I'm in so many work meetings, in behavioral therapy, working with impaired adults and their families. And then, I do broadcasts during the week with certain, just whatever. Right. And I have to be professional. And I tend not to swear, when I'm live, especially on a podcast, because my late grandmother said it's a sign of uneducation. I mean,
it's not going well today, is it?
When the camera's not rolling. I feel like I can let loose. It's Friday night, holiday weekend with you guys, so I'll say the F word if I want. Talk about space docking.
No, I hear you.
No.
That's right.
I don't know.
Timing's perfect.
Sorry, I don't know that I want to play some of the comments with the F word in them. So I'll let you guys look at the comments for yourselves. I don't know.
So now that we've touched on the defensive line.
Defensive backs or linebackers?
Let's go linebackers here.
Linebackers. How about Devondre Campbell?
Oh man,
He had a
that's
hell of a year last year, and I think because of where he went and his unclear path to relevancy, people have just not drafted him at all because they're like
And
scared.
he's listed as a starter.
He is, and they paid him like a starter, so he's starting.
Yeah,
It's a matter of what. It's Isaiah Simmons is the problem, and I'm not saying
Is there
it's a
enough
problem.
tackles to go around for everybody on that team, though?
That's
You
the
know?
thing. And Campbell last year thrived while Deion Jones fell off the face of the earth practically. So
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
the tackles. That's why Jones is bound to have a bounce back season because nobody's there to take the tackles anymore. It's his game, so to speak. How about Levante David?
Yeah.
Is he disrespected? Because everybody's on the
Definitely
depth train.
I
Everybody
think
thinks
so.
that's like Shaquille Barrett.
Yeah, I think so.
He's a top 10 guy for me in terms of
Shaquille-
linebackers.
Yeah.
Number 10 to be specific.
Yeah,
Griffin's
Shaquille
in
Barrett's
for,
not going to
very-
repeat what he did last year.
No, there's a
No.
huge regression coming there. What if I could tell you there's a linebacker, you're probably getting your linebacker
Yeah.
3 or 4, who has about 130 tackles and gets you about 3 or 4 interceptions per year. Would you be okay with that?
Sign me up.
Yep.
What if I told you he played in Seattle?
KJ Wright.
KJ Wright.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
in their right mind talks about KJ Wright?
I do because I'm a
I know.
Seattle.
KJ
I'm
Wright's
no-
a tackling
I'm no
machine.
ID
No.
I'm no IDP analyst or an expert by any stretch of anyone's imagination, Kyle.
Agree.
But you're
Certainly
talking about
agree,
a
yes.
guy. You're talking about a guy. You got a guy that's going to get you 130 tackles, probably something around 70 to 50, 70 solo, 50 assist tackles every year, finishing the top 20 in scoring amongst linebackers. That's probably not getting drafted very high in a lot of IDP leagues still.
Here's my thing with him. I love the guy. I'm glad you brought it up. And I think he's going to have another fantastic season because as Dan would attest to this, they drafted Jordan Brooks to be like that their heir apparent there, right? So that's only going to push him harder. In a dynasty league, I think I might stay away from him because isn't he 31, 32 years old?
Yeah.
But for
Yeah.
redraft, and even in a dynasty league, use him up. Put him on your team, use him up, and sell him high in the middle of the season, right? And if he after you trade him, let's say, if he goes on to have a fantastic rest of the season, that's fine because you made a bet, you did something that you were supposed to do. You sold high on him, and here comes Jordan Brooks. So I think the addition of the rookie Brooks is only going to push KJ Wright a little bit more, personally.
Yeah. Sean says Anthony
Who's the
Walker.
third linebacker, though?
Third? Who cares? Third linebacker.
That's my point. So if you go, I think
Jordan Brooks.
don't you have
third
to have
linebacker.
Brooks, Wright, and Wagner all three on the field at the same time? Don't you have to have all three of those if you're Seattle?
I think you do.
Defense, but
It'll get to
he plays
that.
base defense more than 30% of the time.
Jordan Brooks is still young. He's still going to make some mistakes. He's a see-ball, hit-ball type of guy. He's going to shoot those gaps, and he's going to make mistakes there. Luckily, you got Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright helping him understand the game. And these guys have been around for a while and know a thing or two about football. But, yeah, I think you have to have all three of them on there at all times.
Yep.
I think Jordan Brooks could be that on there during nickel situations. You can run 3 linebackers. He's okay in coverage. I did a report on him for the IDP Guys magazine, and I absolutely loved everything about him. And I can definitely see why.
And honestly, in 3 years, it could be Jordan Brooks and Cody Barton as your linebacker core in Seattle. Yeah. If Jordan Brooks is what they drafted him to be, then he'll be the middle linebacker more than likely.
Brooks, yeah, but Barton, I don't know. I don't know about Barton.
Real quick, I'm up in the draft. It's between 3 rookie wide receivers: Pittman in Indianapolis, Mims in New York, or T. Higgins in Cincinnati. Tell me what I want to hear.
I'm a Pittman guy. Yeah, I like Pittman.
Probably Pittman. Mims, I don't think has practiced since the beginning of August, so he's
He actually did.
void for me.
You
He
know
did
what?
practice.
I do think T. Higgins can make it interesting, though.
Yeah,
Higgins will make it interesting.
I think as long as AJ
targets here.
As long as AJ Green is out, Higgins can take that other job. So I mean,
So the way I look at it right now,
Sorry. Go ahead, Coach.
Both Pittman and Higgins are kind of your red zone guys, your jump ball type guys here. I trust Burrow's arm a little bit more than Rivers' arm, so I'll take T. Higgins here over Pittman. But I'm not gonna. If you take Pittman, I'm not gonna fault you for it.
Yeah.
And then once you make that
Grab
pick,
Pittman.
yeah. So with Pittman, I think Philip Rivers has what he used to have in Tyrell Williams. He's got that big target that's going to go up in the end zone, the jump ball guy. So Philip Rivers is going to utilize him there as much as possible. But I think for the most part, that offense in Indianapolis is going to be a dink and dump kind of thing. I think Nyheim Hines is underrated. I think Marlon Mack is going to get his touches. I think they're going to pound the ball with Jonathan Taylor. I think all three running backs they have right now are going to factor in. And I would not be surprised. T.Y. Hilton's numbers aren't going to be as big as people think. Paris Campbell, I don't even think he makes it past week 4. Pittman's going to be that guy, the tight end. Jack Doyle is going to be utilized in there, and Pittman, now that Trey Burton's banged up, I'm not even sure Trey Burton's going to be able to play.
No.
All right, we're talking way too much offense on this show.
Yeah, I don't know what you all are talking about. You done lost me.
So let's bring it back around to disrespected linebackers. I think no linebacker has been disrespected more today than Todd Davis by his actual team, too.
Oh, man. You're so right about that.
Explain that move to me. Why do you make that move?
You see,
I have no idea.
They got the man
nothing but
Austin Calitro from the Bengals.
You know what? That's
because he's the superstar. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they say a little money against the cap.
You know what? A.J. Johnson was not a superstar last year, but now he's your starting middle linebacker. So
A.J. Johnson's a beast. Don't even be hating on him, Dan.
But he's not for you.
What I'm saying is, where was A.J. Johnson in your dynasty rankings last year before week 1? He wasn't on there at all because he wasn't on anybody's radar last year.
Right, but he just needed. He would have been drafted had it not been for the off the field issues. He had some trouble at Tennessee off the field that he was cleared of. That's why he wasn't drafted. That's why he fell where he did. And now you're seeing somebody give him a chance. You're seeing that he can do it. Denver was wise. They picked him up, and now you're reaping the benefits for nothing because it cost them nothing to get him.
I'm really shocked it wasn't A.J. Johnson that was cut because it seemed like today every Tennessee Volunteer in the NFL got cut. There was a lot of volunteers that were cut from rosters today.
They were volunteering to get cut so that the other people could stay on the roster.
See, I'm trying to be good here. I'm trying to be nice, but y'all just not going to let me do it. So
here's, and I know I said before, hot takes are garbage, but
these two over here, are dirty, rotten fucks.
Stop just yelling at people. Listen.
No.
Austin Calitro is A.J. Johnson 6. How about
it got real awkward, like mommy just hit daddy at the dinner table.
Well, Darrell likes to spend 5 minutes of the show instead of actually breaking down some actual analysis, just calling me names and dingus names. So, we need to keep this moving.
That's the first time that's happened tonight.
It is. He's doing pretty good. We're an hour and 24 minutes.
That's the first time that happened tonight.
We normally
He's only been here for 24 minutes, but
Darrell slurring and cursing at us. So
slurring and cursing.
Zip the lip. No more for me. I'm muting Look here. I'm going to mute myself the rest of.
Oh, he's going to take his ball and go home.
He's got his arm off and everything. He was putting time out.
The best part is he's muting himself. Well, we all know that you can mute any of us at any time.
I can. I have the power to mute. Yeah. I can.
I have the power.
You know what? You can mute, but mute that. How about that?
I have the power.
Oof.
Anyway, Dan, you were getting into some actual football stuff here, weren't you? Before
I said Austin. I said they traded for Austin Calitro, and Austin Calitro is one of these guys that's bounced around. He played for Seattle. He was backup for Wagner in preseason a couple years ago. He played well when he was forced into action when KJ Wright went down. He's bumped around a little bit. They couldn't keep him last season before at training camp. He was one of their cuts at the end. He bounced around, went to Jacksonville, played some in Jacksonville. He ended up in Cincy. And then Cincinnati just traded him for a defensive tackle to Denver. Honestly, they obviously aren't impressed with Josie Jewell because they would have just.
Yeah. But they
Did they
kept
sign?
They signed Mark
kept
Barron
Josie
too, yeah.
Jewell.
Mark Barron isn't anything special.
Juicy
Right.
Joe.
Not at all.
They kept Josie Jewell. They traded for Carlitos
That's what don't
away,
make-
and they brought in Mark Barron. Can you believe that? That's where you talk about disrespect. You're right.
Yeah.
Todd Davis was disrespected. Carlitos way, Mark Barron, and Josie Jewell still have a job with the Denver Broncos,
And he doesn't.
and he doesn't. And
Although-
the worst part is now he's probably going to end up in Jacksonville.
You cut him, but you also
By
lost
cutting him-
rookie Justin Strnad.
Yeah.
Well, he's out for the season, so
So for the season, yeah.
not playing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
but-
you lost him, and you're not happy with Josie Jewell, but yet you're going to cut probably your best linebacker, maybe outside of A.J. Johnson.
Well,
That just makes no
here's-
sense to me.
Hey, Todd
or-
Davis can come over to Green Bay. We could use a little help.
$4.5 million.
Yeah, you definitely could, Kyle.
Yeah. We could use
I
some
get
help.
that. They did say $4.5 million. I do get that, but at what point does that $4.5 million help you more than cutting Todd Davis?
Yeah.
I think Todd Davis is worth more to your team with what you have at linebacker than that $4.5 million.
Todd Davis wasn't on the field the last couple weeks of practice. Maybe they saw how the defense was responding to the guys on the field and said, you know what, we don't need this guy. That's what happens.
Could be.
Some of these NFL players don't want to leave the field even if they're hurt because they know if they leave the field,
Right.
somebody else is getting an opportunity.
Right.
Here's another cut. Burgess was cut, so that helps weed out some of that Jets linebacking core. I still think it's Cashman and Hewitt.
Yeah.
Apparently, what I've been reading is Williamson's been running with the twos.
Yeah, him and Burgess were running with the twos.
I
Williamson's
think they're
going to
bringing him
start.
back slow.
Williamson's going to start. Yeah, they are.
He will. He's still recovering though.
He may be, and that's maybe why they're bringing him back
Yep.
slow.
And this is news to me that the Jets
Right.
cut Burgess. You know, he going to be a starting linebacker after C.J. Mosley opted out for the season.
Yeah, he started the last 10 games after Mosley went down last season. So
He was a serviceable professional linebacker. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
you got two guys on rookie deals, though. I mean, it is a business.
Absolutely.
Business first and foremost.
Yep,
we
it
know,
sure
we
is.
know
You
that,
remember that.
we know the Jets don't care about winning.
Well, yes. So
They proved that when they hired Adam Gase.
I was gonna say, who's getting fired first? Adam Gase, Doug Marrone,
Gase.
Matt
Gase,
Nagy. Who else is on the hot seat? Do we think?
Patricia here in Detroit, maybe. I don't know.
Trisha. You know what I said the other night? I said
Yeah.
Patricia get fired.
But open and honestly, not a homer, a guy born and raised here in Detroit. I don't think that the Lions have an awful season, so awful that they feel like the ownership feels like they have to fire Patricia this season. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, the thing about
That's what I said. I think
thing
Gase
about
is the first one
Patricia-
gone.
Oh, it's not even close.
Well, yeah, I think Gase is a Gase
Yeah.
should have never been hired in the first place at the Jets. I don't know what the Jets were thinking. He sucked,
Right.
and they said, "Oh, we have to have this guy." I mean, I guess they thought he could fix Sam Darnold, but
I like the kid. I love Sam Darnold, and I love it Le'Veon Bell there. And then Gase,
I do too.
he's such a weirdo. He's saying Frank Gore is going to get first team reps. Like, I mean, not reps because they should run through all their running backs, at all positions and depths. But he's saying that Frank Gore is going to be a big factor in our running game when you have Le'Veon Bell there. It baffles me. It baffles me that Gase.
yeah, but I mean, I take nothing these coaches say with much of the clip. Everybody lies.
True.
Bruce Arians sat out here and said, "No, we're not interested in Leonard Fournette," and then 2 days later, he's in a Bucs jersey.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Well,
these coaches lie all the time. They have this coach speak. Bill Belichick is a master at just saying nothing while saying 5 sentences.
But he backs
Yes,
it up.
he is.
He wins Super Bowls. He wins playoff games.
He does.
He's allowed to do whatever he wants. A dummy like Gase hasn't done a thing.
Oh yeah, I know,
you
but I'm saying these coaches don't. They think up ways to say things to the press to give them their soundbite, and then they go and they coach their team. Like maybe he's trying to motivate. Some coaches use the media to motivate players. Maybe this is his way of saying, "Hey, Le'Veon, I got this. I got Frank Gore, whose son is playing for something
Missouri.
State. He played last night, Missouri State. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the play that he made. He was getting tackled and brought to the ground and pitched it to his quarterback. It ended up getting he was ruled down, but it was a heck of a play. But Frank Gore
Who do you think you learned that from?
I guess from the old man. The old man's probably done it all. I'm sure Frank Gore's done that at some point in his career. He's done probably everything. Frank Gore's probably punted a ball at some point.
Huh.
At what point do we start telling Frank Gore Chuck Norris jokes?
Right now.
Right now.
Right now. Yes, definitely.
So we got Doug Marrone and Gase, Patricia 2, minus 100 on each, probably Gase first. See, I think Jacksonville is so committed to losing that they're just going to let Marrone ride this season out and fire him after the season.
You know what's funny is I just had this this thought. Frank Gore's been in the league how many years? 16, something like that.
18,000.
He played in the Ohio State national championship game in 2004, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Ohio State, Miami. So yeah, 16 years.
But I've never heard the guy's voice. I have no idea what he sounds like. That just goes to show you how humble he is. He doesn't care about being in the limelight and doing all these pressers constantly, doing sit-ups in his driveway. He doesn't give a shit. He just wants to play football.
Gase and Balaj cut at the same time. Well, that would be this week probably because Balaj got reverted back to the Dolphins because he failed his physical.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Here's an interesting one, and I think this may be a possibility. Dan Quinn, if they miss the playoffs, I think that's a definite. Because I think
absolutely.
I think we're looking at
it last year.
Yeah, I think you're looking at Gase though as being cut before the season's over.
Every time Hollywood opened his mouth to get a point, Dan was.
He's on the play.
He just talks to hear himself talk. He just does.
We're talking about Dan Quinn now. We moved on from Adam Gase. He's definitely getting fired this year. At what point? He's probably the first to go. Again, I think Patricia is a candidate to get fired in season 2.
What about Anthony Lynn or Brian Flores?
Flores isn't getting fired.
You think they're going to let him stick around there for a little bit?
You must not listen to IDP Nation. Miami's winning the East.
Ooh.
Yes, I
haven't
listened
to the recent one, but I do listen to you guys.
No, Miami's not winning the East.
My grapefruit pick of the week or pick of the year. Miami's winning the East.
Oh my God, I can't.
Josh Allen's not as good.
As what? He's played one season.
Has he played one?
Allen's played a couple. Fitzmagic is gonna bring back the band. They have a defense this year that they didn't have last year, and they beat the Patriots last year with their ragtag bunch of misfits that nobody wanted. He brought half of New England's defense, that was the number 1 defense in the league last year, down to South Beach. I mean, come on.
Can't.
It's a recipe for success. I like this. Miami is doing something.
I was just going to say, that's Dan's famous quote right there. Miami is doing something.
They're winning the East is what they're doing. You heard it here first. I think they do beat the Patriots week 1.
Wow.
Oof.
Wow.
Half of the Patriots defense opted out. Who's rushing the passer for them? John Simon?
Kyle Van Noy.
Chase Winovich.
Kyle Van Noy is rushing for Miami.
Uche
No.
from out of
Josh-
U of M.
Josh
Yeah,
Uche.
that's
Go
your
blue.
two. It's going to be Winovich and Uche is going to be your two pass rushers.
I just
They
had
got
that
another- they got an
Jawan
Alabama
Bentley
guy there,
article
too.
come out the other day too.
Yep.
All right, so let's forget about the Dolphins for a few minutes. Let's go back to Dan Quinn here and the point that I was trying to make. They have what can Dan Quinn do with this team that he hasn't already done? If they don't make the playoffs this year, the general manager and the owner are going to look at it and say, he's taken this team as far as he can take it. We need somebody else in here. Matt Ryan's in that window's closing for Matt Ryan. They're going to need to draft a quarterback soon. The window's closing for the Falcons. You can say
they
the
made
window
the Super Bowl
closed.
a few years ago, though.
Well, you could say the window closed when New England came back from down 28-3 and slammed the door shut on them. I think that shut their window, to be honest. It
I
just
think it
completely
did too.
demoralized that whole team. That team was never the same after that game.
Well, let's talk about the Falcons here. They've got an offense that can go against any offense and match any points for with any team in the league. We know Julio, Calvin, Todd Gurley. Beastie talked about this earlier about what they can do on offense at the beginning of the show here. So the biggest question is that defense. The defense hasn't gotten right for a couple of years. Ken O'Neill's been banged up. He hasn't played a full season, or he's been out the last 2 seasons, basically. Deion Jones played last year. Didn't look like himself, but he was out the season before. They let Devondre Campbell go to Arizona, so they got some work to do on that defense. That's where it's all going to come down to, that Falcons defense.
Yeah.
Now, Dan Quinn is supposed to be a defensive coach, so we'll see what he can do, but I'm looking at the moves they made this year in Atlanta on that defense, and they didn't really do a whole heck of a lot. You got Grady Jarrett there.
Fowler's a
You
big
kept,
get.
what's that?
Fowler's a big upgrade over the Vic Beasley, who's not there anymore. And yeah, it's the Hawks were demoralized too, yes, but that was their own stupidity. That was Darrell Bevel, by the way. Thank you, Detroit, for taking that waste of space off of our hands.
Bevel?
Yes,
The
I
big
despise
move
Darrell
that
Bevel.
We'll see.
the big
I mean,
move that
they,
the Falcons made on their defense this year. The big move the Falcons made was Deion Buchanan.
No,
Right? That was the biggest
Dante
addition they
Fowler
made.
is the big move. Deion
Dante
Buchanan's gonna
Fowler.
make the team.
Yeah.
Deion Buchanan's going to be doing cuts tomorrow.
But was it really that big a move getting Fowler? They just moved like Beasley.
It was.
Beasley
was.
wasn't doing what Beasley's supposed to do. But I don't know. They improved a little bit there, but not
You know
enough
what?
to make a difference on that defense.
Seeing how Beasley's acting in Tennessee, it's a big upgrade because you know who's at practice right
Oh,
now?
my God.
Fowler. You know who's not at practice right now?
Jeez.
Vic Beasley.
Jesus freaking Christ. I can't.
But
They-
what has Fowler done the last couple seasons? Seriously, outside of last year, when was Fowler effective? He didn't do shit in
the second
Jacksonville.
half of the year for the Rams, he helped them get to the Super Bowl.
I'm saying he was in there. That was it. He hasn't
He
done
was
a
in
whole heck of a lot.
Jacksonville where people go to die. Come on, give the guy great.
I don't know. Josh Allen came there and seemed to be effective. Calais Campbell was effective in
He had
Jacksonville.
4 sacks in I don't have the games up here. He had 4 sacks his first season he played. His first season was wiped out due to injury. He had 8 sacks his second season he played. Then he had 4. Most of those were when he went to the Rams because that was the year he was traded in 2018. Last year he had 11 and a half playing outside linebacker. He's returning to defensive end, which I think is more – I mean, he's an edge rusher is what he is. Edge.
All right.
Edge man.
I don't know what you're saying, but sure.
I'm sorry. I'm not buying the hype of Fowler.
I'm in on Fowler. I don't know.
I'm not
He's
either.
down.
No, I'm out.
The thing about this,
I'm out.
the Falcons is their health. If Keanu Neal is not healthy, they're not going to be any good. Olakun, Michael Walker, it's up to those two to really pick up for Devondre Campbell. They lost Devondre Campbell. And yes, Deion Jones, he should have a better year I don't know if he'll have a career year because his second season in the league was pretty nice. I don't know if he's going to match that. But
He'll bounce back, I think, but I don't know if he's ever going to be LB1, you know? I look at him as the LB3 nowadays.
I'll tell you what, he's going to be the LB1 this year.
Right.
Mark my words for it. There's no competition for his tackles right now. Devondre Campbell was a hog. He was a pig. He was greedy. He took everything away from Deion Jones last year. Now it's Deion Jones again, and Deion Buchanan, if you believe it.
I got Deion Jones as a linebacker 9, so I'm all in on him.
I like Deion Jones.
Me too.
And what's this? I'm seeing Fred
I like
Warner.
I think it really helps
You
him
know,
a lot if
that
Keanu
young
Neal's back.
stuff from San Francisco.
Yeah, the guy.
Hey, Darrell, that's
Fred
you
Warner's
too.
on the
Go ahead,
COVID
sorry.
night.
Yeah.
No, I just read that Fred Warner in San Francisco. He's on the COVID IR list all of a sudden. When did that happen?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, they put him on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Raquel Armstead was put back on it for the second time. That's
I wonder if he's just got some sickness and they're just trying to
Yeah.
keep him away from everybody. I don't know what that's all about, but
And I read an article. I forget where I read it, but they were saying they're kind of convinced that teams are going to use this as a way to stash people, either extra weeks that they
makes
normally
sense.
be able to,
Yep.
or right now at cut time, maybe you don't want to cut Raquel Armstead, but
Yep.
you need to put him somewhere for a little while until you make your rest
I
of your
get it.
move. You're not going to start him week 1, throw him on this COVID list, say, oh, he came in contact with somebody, because, you know, you can quarantine somebody just for coming in
Now-
contact with somebody.
If a team puts a guy on the COVID list, do they have to show proof to the league, or are they just it's like a word,
Well,
like a trust factor?
If you come in
That's
contact with somebody, I'm sure
See, I'm
there's
not
some
sure.
kind of protocol, but if you come in contact with somebody, you should be quarantined from your team so you don't infect the whole team.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't know if
Yeah.
you can prove COVID or not. If you've got the sniffles, if you've got anything, a sore throat, any symptomatics, any symptoms there, I think
Yeah.
the team's going to err on the side of precaution. And there's not a damn thing the NFL is going to do about it, because public perception's out there that, hey, if I have to miss work because I got a
Right.
sore throat, then NFL players are going to miss work because they got a sore throat. And there's like no leeway. We preach here.
Exactly.
Canada's a different story. We're not too worried about it. But you guys are like really into this whole mask, no mask thing down there. And
It's embarrassing,
players are-
quite
Don't
frankly.
get me started on this bullshit.
and if the players have any symptoms, the public's expectation is this guy's going to miss some time. The players on the team's expectation is this guy's going to be away from the team. So you might be on that COVID list 5 or 6 times during the season just because of precautionary measures. And this is where you're going to need to know where these backup linebackers, backup defensive linemen are on these teams. You're going to need to go 3-4 deep in the roster and have an idea who could be the next man up this year more than any other year.
So here's an interesting tweet here that
Yeah.
I'm just from Albert Breer. He said that there are some guys that have been rumored in trade talks that are cut candidates possibly. So the defensive side of the ball we'll look at. Sheldon Rankins is a name apparently in trade talks. A couple corners in Philadelphia, Russell
can see
Douglas, Sidney Jones, and Washington's Ryan Anderson. So I think Rankins is the big one here because he could impact the team. He's had a couple season enders in the past couple seasons, which may impact his ability to perform as he used to. But it's an interesting list.
Right, and I think injuries kind of hurt him and the performance of Shy Tuttle down the stretch last year. I think that's kind of what's making him expendable. But you put him on a team that needs a defensive tackle, and he can be an impact player for them.
Yeah, I mean, they signed Malcolm Brown away from New England last
true.
off.
I forgot about that.
They have
Yeah.
Tuttle. They have Anya Maya, I think, still. I mean, they have a loaded defensive front. They're talking about bringing Clowney in. So, I mean, on the offensive side of the ball, Seth Roberts and Robert Foster on the list, and the Jets center, Jonathan Harrison. So, A couple guys that could be cut or moved. He did say that Rosen and Butler were on this list, but obviously they got cut. So, it's one of those deals where you're trying to get what you can for somebody you're going to cut, which makes sense because if you can get a 6th-round pick for somebody, that's another dart throw. You're going to get rid of somebody.
Well, you know who hasn't been cut yet? Who's going to have an absolute huge season this year? Well, I'll have to wait for Darrell to come back for this one, but if you wouldn't mind queuing the music up for me.
Yeah, let me.
Well, we're talking Derwin James is out, right? Derwin James is out. Next man up. There's some Adrian Phillips. He went over to New England. That means one man's left standing. Now, unfortunately, I got to wait until Darrell comes back to truly enjoy this.
Yeah.
He went to probably take a piss again, didn't he?
He probably did. Or we irritated him to the fact he left.
They had a
we've had him way worse than this. We've had Darrell way worse than this.
We have.
I think he's only dropped like one F-bomb tonight. Like he's like doing pretty good.
Let's see here. This comment. Okay, here we go. Sheldon Rankins, Malcolm Brown, Mario Edwards. But like I said, Shai Tuttle's another guy that's back there. That may be impacting.
Well, you go back to that. You take it where Sheldon Rankins is. Rankins, I don't think Saints are going to miss him because they haven't had him the last couple of years. You know what I mean? They've been playing without him for.
They've had him for a big chunk of the season. It's the who
Beastie.
It was Beastie
man.
So yeah, they really haven't had him fully healthy for several years now. So, and they did bring in, like you said, Malcolm Brown. They brought in this year, or was it this year they brought him in?
Last offseason they did. I wrote about
it.
David Onyemata is one guy they have. Margus Hunt they signed from Indianapolis. He was a big guy there. So maybe they just see that they have depth. Well, the defensive line is a place that I like depth because then I can rotate these guys through.
Well, you see what teams like Philly have done with that depth, how they've been able to rotate through and the success they've had.
They've been able to rotate guys. They've been able to rotate guys to the IR and still manage to win the division. So,
well, I'm glad you brought up IR because we talked about the LA Chargers. They are probably the team that gets dinged more than any other team on the IR. And this year now they have to go to their best player in that secondary, and they got to get themselves a little bit of a boost in production from one.
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming.
Get old Rayshawn.
Rayshawn
Jenkins.
Y'all done run Beastie off. What happened to Beastie? Bring him back. I don't like you guys.
Yeah, man. He left. He didn't want to plug his stuff.
Well, we've got Kyle here. He's in that Chicago area. You want to just pull up Orange Man there splitting butt cheeks comment?
Whoa.
Just seen it.
Whoa.
We're back going to take a break from splitting firewood with Matt Stafford's.
I appreciate you, Johnny.
Let's talk about
that's great.
No,
always splitting cheeks, Johnny.
Let's talk about Khalil Mack splitting butt cheeks. So seriously,
you the man, Johnny.
That would be the best comment ever.
He's the man.
That's
I
the
want
greatest.
to touch on this right now.
I bet you do.
Because
I bet you do.
Hold on 1 second before Johnny goes away. Johnny, you'll like my team name in your league.
And
team
anyway, now.
Because we're all cake.
Tell us the name. Come on.
He's a teacher. He can't say anything.
Yeah.
Cake. Because we are all cake.
Let's talk about Khalil Mack. He's going to be splitting a lot of quarterbacks' butt cheeks this year because he's going to have one player back in that Bears lineup that missed a good chunk of the season that nobody's talking about because the Bears defense sucked because of one Akeem Hicks not being there anymore.
Yeah, that's going to be huge.
You
Huge.
bring Akeem Hicks back into the fold with Robert Quinn and Khalil Mack. Now the Bears have a pass rush. We
I
talk
agree.
about how a quarterback can move to the side, get him on the roll and throw the pass. But it is hard to do when your butt cheek's about to get split right up the middle. That pressure up the middle that Akeem Hicks brings, he was sending guys to Khalil Mack.
Max, that's awesome.
I'm going to take a lot of heat for this, but I think Khalil Mack is a bigger name and a bigger disruptor than he is on the stat sheet for IDP.
I think you got to put
This
the pieces around him to be. I think Quinn's going to help. I think Akeem Hicks.
Khalil Mack is a more disruptive Jadeveon Clowney. The stats
His
aren't
LB designation screws him.
Yeah,
If he was a
agreed.
always 3L.
You
If he
put
was
him
always
as a
a
D end, and
D-end.
he's definitely top 10 if you put him as a D end
Oh, yeah.
easily.
I agree. Mhm.
Yeah,
The Raiders
Definitely.
made the right move letting Khalil Mack go and getting what they got for him. I'll say that because I don't think you can invest that much into one man.
True.
Unless it's a quarterback. That said, with Akeem Hicks is the key here. Akeem Hicks is back. Khalil Mack will produce more this year. I guarantee
Oh,
you
yeah.
that. He will be back.
And with
top
Robert
10.
Quinn, he's going to do a lot more. Robert Quinn did good in Dallas last year, and you're going to put him opposite of Khalil Mack with Hicks back. I think, Chicago's going to have something there with those linebackers with Trevathan and Roquan Smith.
Yep.
I like what they're doing on defense. I really do. Now, if they could just get their head out of their ass and get that offense together, they would have something.
I don't play.
Oh, they
devil's
got that together.
So
Got
are
it
we
together.
okay
They got
naming
it
them the
together.
Windy City QB butt splitters? Is that their cheek splitters? Is that kind of where we're going with this?
Hey, I'm
The
with
Windy
it.
City QB. That's kind of like the purple people eaters here, right? We got them as the
Yeah.
Windy City QB cheek splitters.
Oh, man. I'm
The
so
only
with it.
problem with that is I don't see the logic because he was 0 against the Lions last year. He did not split Stafford's cheeks at all last year.
No,
He had
'cause
0
Flores was
sacks
out.
against the Lions twice.
Yeah,
Akeem
but who
Hicks
did
wasn't
he
there.
have? Yeah, and who did he have playing opposite of him? I mean, seriously,
Leonard Floyd.
Leonard Floyd.
Yeah,
Leonard Floyd. I mean, there's no way Leonard Floyd is even
Okay.
in the same atmosphere as Robert
So-
Quinn. No way.
So I'm playing devil's advocate. Khalil
I get you.
Mack is 29 years old. His best season was the sophomore season. He had 15 sacks. 2 years ago, 2018, he had 12.5. Last year, at 8.5. Like I said, I think he's disruptive, but at this point, I think he's just a bigger name than he is actual production, sack-wise. He could hit 10, but that's
I could see it. I mean, he was in my possible bust article. So
But I mean, we talk about him in the same vein as we talk about, actually we talk about Khalil Mack as being more disruptive than Chandler Jones, and Chandler Jones has better stats.
yep, he does.
And he's as disruptive, if
He really
not
does.
more.
I don't. I think Chandler Jones has the. Chandler Jones is getting the sacks.
So
But
Chandler Jones,
Matt can
same
get those.
situation. He's a linebacker who gets disrespected because of position designation, except Khalil
Yeah.
Mack was something like linebacker 60 or 58. Okay. Chandler Jones was, take me a minute to find it here, linebacker 19.
Big diff.
It's a big difference. I mean, Khalil Mack's not even on the radar to start at linebacker 50. So, just saying. He's a bigger name. I agree. He's disruptive on the
Right.
field.
You know,
doesn't show up in the
I do agree with you a little bit, Dan. His name does get him drafted probably a little bit more ahead than it should.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I've never drafted Khalil Mack, and I'm a Bears fan, and if that tells you anything, so
The only leagues I've ever drafted Khalil Mack in are ones
But
where
I would take Mac now because of.
Christ, just talk right over to
You talk
the only
over
leagues
me,
I've ever
Jess.
drafted him in is defensive when he's a defensive end on sleeper, and that's about
Right.
it. If I can play him at defensive line on sleeper, then I'm drafting. So
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it a fun couple hours? We've flown by. Let's give everybody a chance to plug their stuff away because we're running short on time. You know what next week is, fellas? We have
Football starts.
We will have a real live NFL football game to talk about next Friday.
Who do you guys think wins the
I
next? Who
can't
wins
wait.
next Thursday? Chiefs or
Chiefs.
Texans?
Kansas City.
Chiefs.
Same.
Chiefs. Well, I have on DraftKings. I have a guaranteed Kansas City plus 101, 101 points. Bet apparently it's a promotion. I guess they're doing. So I'm riding with the Chiefs plus 101. That might be a little bit of a cop out because I'm pretty sure that the Chiefs will cover that spread.
Who do you guys think gets the most tackles in that game? Out of Zach Cunningham, Willie Gay Jr., and Benadryl McKinney.
Cunningham.
I would say-
It won't be
I'll
close.
pick Cunningham.
I'm going to say
I'm going-
Anthony Hitchens just because. And then
Oh
I'm
my
going to immediately
God.
try to trade him.
Did you just say Anthony Hitchens? Oh my God! Somebody kick him in the dingus.
Hey, all I'm going to say is Kyle Bellefeuil views Seahawks Dan as an expert analyst. So I got to have to take Anthony Hitchens over Zach Cunningham here.
Oh my God! I quit. I'm done. I quit. I freaking
I love
quit.
you,
Yeah,
Coach.
we won that
Already,
2-2, man.
Hollywood, if so, you pick somebody. You're
It
gonna
is
pick
Zach
Cunningham.
Cunningham is the correct answer.
Okay. So Cunningham, if Cunningham gets more tackles than Anthony Hitchens, then I'll wear my Eddie George Titans jersey on the show next week.
I just can't.
I like that bet. I don't know if it's
And if
Hollywood.
Anthony Hitchens out tackles, we're talking. We'll talk solo tackles, solo or combined.
Oh my God! I can't with you people.
Combined, just two combined.
What are you gonna do?
Zach said he's going combined tackles, I think, right?
Combined, yes, he said combined.
Combined.
So I'm waiting for Darrell to man up and say, "I am going to do this" when Dan is right.
I don't know. What do you want me to do, Dan?
Let's have you dance in front of the camera with your shirt off, wearing a bandana.
Nobody wants.
What is with you
Whoa,
wanting to see
whoa,
Darrell
whoa,
talk like that?
Whoa.
Darrell,
I'm just referring to what
everyone
Reese was
else
saying.
here. Zach
Damn,
is
I
the
don't
only
even
one
wanna
here who
say
wants
that.
to see you topless. We've been trying to get. We're like, Zach, no, you don't want to see Darrell topless. Zach's like, no, I want to see it. He's like, I heard he's got nipple piercings.
Hello, Mr.
You and Darrell has
President.
face Seahawks colors because I know you had the face paint stuff because you've done it before.
Here you go, Darrell.
Yeah.
This is
Oh, there's money involved. Well, shit. Nobody told me there was singles involved in this. Come on.
oh, I got singles, buddy.
That changes
I got
things
you.
right there.
Well, before we get kicked off the air, everybody's got a minute. We have 5 minutes left. Everybody's got a minute to talk. So let's give our guest Zach the floor first. Go ahead, Zach.
Put me on the spot first. You guys can find my Twitter handle at zmagsIDP. All my work is done for idpguys.org. I'm going to be finishing up my 2020 IDP breakout article series. I just had a Jawan Bentley one come out yesterday, and I'm starting an IDP rookies to watch series. The first two guys I got coming out, I think it's going to be published tomorrow. I have Jeremy Chin and Isaiah Simmons in that one. So I'm looking forward for that one to be coming out.
Nice.
Simmons is probably the guy I want to see the most because I want to see how the Cardinals use him.
Well, from training camp reports, they're actually letting him try everything. I think that's going to bode well for his IDP value.
Even though they said, "Oh, he's going to only play at linebacker." Yeah, that's why I
Right.
say
Yeah.
that.
No.
Everybody lies.
He's getting a chance
Zach.
to move around. I think that's going to be good.
Yeah. So check out the handles in the windows here. Kyle, what are you working on?
Yeah, I'll be working on the weekly waiver articles over at IDP Guys once we get rolling here. And I just want to go on record to say that Coach Dingus is 1,000 times the IDP analyst I'll ever be. I'm just striving to be as good as Coach.
Oh, Lord.
You are so full.
That was
I
cute.
genuinely mean that.
Let's go to Coach. What's going on with you?
Kyle, you got something brown on your nose, man.
Well, unlike these other IDP analysts and experts
He's
here,
been
I'm
on
not
my
with
ass all
IDP. You won't see much of my work at IDP, guys, until we get the magazine out and rolling. You can catch me over at the Dynasty Vipers, dynastyvipers.com. We've been pumping out some articles here lately. Got a good cast and crew over there. Jeff's doing a bunch of stuff. Like, whoa, we got everyone kind of doing.
Oh, what happened here?
He's having a
Did he
case of
freeze?
Hollywood internet.
He like froze up.
Hey,
Yeah.
see, that's unacceptable because I am the king of shitty internet, so nobody else can horn in on that.
Kyle's missing his pencil over the year for the Patricia look.
Thanks, Tom. I'll wear one next week.
Was everyone
Because you cut me off.
Was everyone else's screen doing weird things?
It was the Canadian internet, I think. Canadian
just
internet.
Else's screen doing weird things?
Mounties
Just mine.
came to your door and unplugged your internet, I guess.
Yeah.
Whole time. It happens from time to time.
Oh, Rashawn
Anyway,
Evans.
DynastyVipers.com, at Dynasty Vipers, at
Abs-
Dingus 4.
Sorry.
All right, Hollywood.
Absolutely, Evans. All day, every day.
Shoot your shot.
Oh, yeah. IDP guys got a bunch of stuff coming out. Change of scenery. Going to do the stock market for the NFL and Devy. Got IDP Devy rankings, the top 700 rankings. I'm everywhere. You can follow me. Follow us at IDP Nation. We got some great sponsors. They're fabulous. You need to tune in for those promos because they are, wait for it, legendary. That's right.
There it is. I love that.
I don't know. This week I was slammed at work trying to get ready to teach from a computer is difficult.
Yeah, I imagine so.
So yeah, I've spent all week prepping for that, and we'll probably spend most of the weekend prepping for it as well. So,
See, Dad, I don't understand what's so difficult about that. We educate Darrell here every week on the computer.
Yeah, I know. I don't see why you're struggling with this, Dane. You should be used to this by now.
Well, Darrell, here's your schedule over here.
I can't read.
I guarantee you most of your 4th or 5th graders are probably higher intellect than Darrell.
Oh, damn.
Oh, man.
He just said he couldn't read.
You know, I'm almost offended by that, but I can't even argue that right now.
Hey, don't worry.
Outside for a while?
We still put U's in like a bunch of our words like color and labor and
Favorite.
Yeah. We like to throw an R-E in there instead of ER every once in a while.
Anyway.
Can we bring Beastie back? I liked him.
Yeah,
I
Beastie,
really don't like you two.
he's at Detroit Beastie. Go check out his work. He's doing a lot. Obviously, he's ranking at Fantasy Pros, and also he writes his daily DFS stuff at DFS Cheat Sheet. I'll plug his stuff since he's not here to do it. My stuff, I haven't had much time to do much, but it's at idpguys.org. Like I said, I've been slammed with real work. Not that this
Slacker.
is real, but this is more of a hobby. And the NFC West might be brief. I might have to just I don't know. I don't even know if there's a slot on the calendar for it because honestly, we're getting ramped up for week 1, and we got tons of articles dropping, prepping us for week 1.
Oh, yeah.
So next Friday, we're going to talk about.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Texans and the Chiefs next Friday night. We'll get to talk about Patrick Mahomes dicing up the Texans defense. and Anthony Hitchens leading both teams in tackles.
Right. Sure. That's what we'll be talking about.
He said right. He's agreeing. But that's about all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, and bye. Smooch. Good night.
See you guys.
Bye.
Good night, Darrell. Good night, Darrell.
Good night.
Peace out, y'all.